You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point. Today's story: the physics teacher. The year was 1928. In the bustling working-class neighborhood of Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. A 15-year-old boy packed his bags and left home to enroll at the Cathedral College of the Immaculate Conception. He was a devout, serious young man, the son of an Italian immigrant butcher. His life's ambition was strictly set. He was to study to become a Catholic priest. Let's just call the boy Thomas. But Thomas soon realized that the quiet, contemplative halls of the seminary couldn't contain the absolute fire he held in his belly. He was so deeply drawn to the physical world, to the competition, to the clashing bodies on the muddy field. He ultimately left his path to the priesthood, transferring to Fordham University. There, despite being remarkably undersized at just 5'8" and 180 pounds, he anchored the offensive line. He was tough, relentless, and became one of the university's legendary 7 blocks of granite. But college glory fades quickly. When graduation arrived in 1937, the professional leagues weren't exactly knocking down the door for the undersized linemen. Thomas had to make a living. He tried his hands at playing semi-pro ball. He went to law school at night. He even worked as a debt collector. Finally, he found stable employment at a small Catholic high school in Englewood, New Jersey called St. Cecilia. But he wasn't hired to be the mastermind of the gridiron. He was hired to be a teacher. For the better part of a decade, Thomas stood at the front of the chalkboard. He taught high school physics. He taught chemistry. He taught Latin. And finally, for a few extra $100, he agreed to help out with the athletic program. Anyone who had ever carried a clipboard, drawn up a practice schedule, or poured their heart into high school athletics knows the grim reality of the job. It's long, quiet bus rides. It's relentless, unrecognizable dedication required to build a program and mold young athletes. Thomas lived the grind. He coached the high school basketball team, he coached the baseball team, and of course, the football team. Eventually, his absolute obsession with the mechanics of the game caught the attention of the college ranks. He became an assistant coach at Fordham, then at West Point, and finally the professional ranks of the New York Giants. But the top job, the head coaching position, always eluded him. The front office executives thought he was too emotional, too demanding, and too volatile. By the time he was 45 years old, Thomas was deeply frustrated, resigned to the very possibility that he would be a career assistant forever. Then in 1959, a desperate, failing franchise in a freezing, tiny Wisconsin town decided to take a gamble on the 46-year-old assistant. They were the laughingstock of the league, having won only 1 game the previous year. Thomas walked into the locker room, looked at the defeated, exhausted men, and told them they were going to relentlessly chase perfection. He took the ironclad discipline he had honed teaching high school physics and Latin and applied it to the grown men of the frozen tundra. He didn't just turn the team around. He forged an absolute dynasty, winning 5 championships in 7 years. Today, the ultimate prize in the sport, the glittering silver trophy hoisted at the conclusion of every Super Bowl, permanently bears the name of the undersized high school chemistry teacher from Brooklyn. He is Vince Thomas Lombardi. And whether you realize it or not, this is the landing point. Thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. Our stories come out Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so you can always catch our latest story. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They're a full-service real estate company that can help you with both your real estate, residential and commercial needs, both buying and selling and leasing for the commercial side. If you haven't done so already, please go out to our YouTube page and subscribe so you can get our latest stories that come out. If you want our latest updates, please go to our Facebook page and follow and like that. And then for those of you that enjoy just listening to stories when you're out on the drive, we do have our podcast too that you can hear the same stories. Thank you for listening to today's story, and we'll catch you next time.